Hey guys, thank you for joining me for part B of our custom battle system tutorial. So what I'm going to do here is click on this Wolfman event, or I named it Wolf, and show you guys how to do the setup for entering into a battle. I just have an RTP default sound being played, and I turned the switch 67 named it battle over. I turned that off. Don't worry about it for this tutorial. We'll go over that in the following weeks. Same thing with mob 1 HP. I set that to 0, and as I set hero HP to 0 as well. Don't worry about either of those for now. So the next thing I did was I set up the flash screen event line, which can be found on page 2 of the event commands. And I just did a flash 1 with a 5/10 of a second wait, and I changed the color to all white. And then I have a 0.3 second wait and a play BGM. I just chose a default RTP for the purposes of this tutorial. And another sound effect. This one is not RTP, however, you can probably, let me play it for you guys. You can probably find it online or something similar, or not, it's up to you. And then I have a ton of pictures that I created in Photoshop. So that's how you kind of get that transition effect. Let me just go through them really quick here. Okay, so when you go through all of them, that's sort of the effect that you get. It kind of blurs out and makes for a more unique transition. Obviously, you're not going to be able to do this effect if the NPC is moving on your map, but it's good for, like, say, boss encounters, where you know where the NPC or the event is going to be placed. So you can use this effect to kind of give it a cool transition for boss encounters. And then we have a wait 0.1 seconds just to give it some more time to finish. Staying on screen, and then we have a teleport, which should teleport to battle map A for this tutorial. I was testing the battle system out, so this is going to be the final map I showed you guys on the previous part A tutorial video. But once you get teleported here to this map, what you want to do, this map is solely for the purpose of setting up your stage and for setting up your animations. You want to make sure that all of your animations flow properly, and they look nice on screen before you apply them in any, like, scripting or coding or whatever you want to call it. So this is the first event that I created. All it's doing here is forbidding the main menu access. This is the default main menu, so if I press X, or if you press X in your engine, you'll get the default menu. This is just there to forbid that from happening when you press the escape or X key. This is the change sprite association. You can access that through the first page right here, change sprite association. So right now our hero is set to, well, actually I can do this. It's set to that sprite right there. However, because we don't want this sprite to appear on our battle map, I just set it to blank sprite sheet. And then I have a ton of weight. You could do a switch here too if you wanted, and then switch it off later after the battle's over. But I just chose to do the weight thing. I don't think any battle would last more. It shouldn't, you shouldn't have battles lasting more than, like, I don't know, like 5-10 minutes, I would say, for even the hardest battles. So put enough weight event lines in there and you're set. Okay, so this is going to be these events right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, are basically setting up a scene. So this is going to be the grass foreground. I had it named logs because I was using a different image, but this is just a foreground grass image. And just keep in mind and be aware of what your picture numbers are, because some pictures you'll want in the foreground, so you'll want to set them higher than the battle monster pics and your battle hero pictures. You'll want to set those picture numbers lower than your picture foregrounds and your effects and all that stuff. And you also want to think about your menu system. How many pictures is that going to use, and where those need to be placed. Usually you want your menus above everything else, above the background, the foreground, all the effects. You want the player who's experiencing your battle system to be able to clearly read and manipulate your menu system. So make it easy for them. I would even recommend making, like in a battle system, if you're using all pictures, I would recommend making like the grass and the backgrounds picture numbers maybe like 10 through 20, and then from 20 to 30 you can do like the character animations, like the characters and like all the monsters on the battle map. And from 30 to 35 you can do like effects, overlay effects, things like that. And then from 35 to like 40 or whatever, you can do all your menus, or even 35 to 49. I usually try to leave 50 for a blank, like a completely black screen, just so if I need to transition out or something like that, I have something to cover the entire map. But anyways, this is going to be my scene overlay picture. I set that as 49. This is going to be a little forest overlay. I set that as 46. Transparency 95. These are some I don't know, I call them, no, this is from my game Epic of Zone. That's why there's a character there named Jaffa. But yeah, these are just some light effects here. So that I set that to 48, and then I have a bunch of move picture effects. So all I'm really doing here is changing the Y and X value and changing the transparency up, and then changing it back to its default with the weight box checked here, so we helped other processes. Let's go to the next one, next event. So this is going to be our background. So that's the hill right there. I set that as 19. I want it below all my hero and monster images. This is another grass picture to kind of blend the grass background with the hills. And same thing goes with this picture. So I set those as 19, 20, and 22 with a 10-second wait, just so the engine doesn't have to, constantly generate these pictures. You put that wait there, it'll reduce the lag. Obviously, if you need a picture to be displayed constantly, you're not going to want to wait there. The next event here, I just have this light effect, and I'm just moving it. Basically, I'm moving it from a lower transparency to an even lower transparency to a higher transparency back to the default transparency. That's pretty much all I'm doing there, with a 15 to 20 tenths of a second wait period. And this is going to be our grass background. Obviously, you want that to be a low value picture number. No transparency, unless you're going for some special effect or something like that, and with a wait second of 100. I could have put a wait second of 100 over here too. It doesn't really matter. I guess it would maybe make it less laggy. I'm not entirely sure. I think once you get to a certain amount, it doesn't really matter anymore. Okay, so let's go over this event first. This is basically, since I don't have a menu in place for this map, all I'm doing here is creating a key input process, so that when the player, or when when you're testing your map, if you were to press the escape key, which represents the value of 6, or the X key, same thing, you would basically go back to the previous map. So this is what I'm talking about with a picture number being 50. If you want to reserve that for, say, like an all black image, this is just to transition out, cover up the entire map. And then when the entire map is blacked out, you can change your sprite, so when you press X, the sprite doesn't pop up on your battle map. Just change that there, and then you can teleport back to your map. So remember, this is all for testing purposes, so you want to set this up just so you can exit and enter your battle menu while testing the pictures for your scenes and all the characters on your map. So speaking of that, all I'm doing here is I created a wait event line, and instead of waiting for a certain amount of time, I check the wait until key is pressed circle. That basically halts all other following lines, so everything after, until the player presses either the C or the enter key. And right here I just have a variable conditional branch operation with and that's checking to see a variable I named hero1 any action. I set that to 6 because the character has 6 different sequences of animation. So he has like a standing pose, he has like an entry pose, an attack pose, a magic pose, and like a victory pose, I think. No, that's the same as the entry pose. But I mean, you can do your own victory pose. You would just have to increase this value to like 7 then. And he has a running pose, like running towards the enemy, and then a falling back pose where he's either getting hurt or moving backwards, which is the same animation sequence. So anyways, I have 6 animation sequences, and all I'm doing here is when the player, playing your game, or if you're testing your game, when you press Z or enter key, it'll basically increase the hero1 animation action variable by the value of 1. And once that value reaches 6, it'll set it to 0. So you're basically going through the animations doing this. And then the same thing applies to the monster animation. So if you press the enter key, not only will the hero animation sift through, you'll also get to sift through the monster animations. So here I just named the variable enemy1, any short for animation action. So when it hits the value of 6, it'll go back to 0. Otherwise, it would be increased by +1. So this is going to be where this is the wolf event right here. You pretty much display the image of your monster, in this case the werewolf, or I think it's just a wolf, over this event. So all I'm doing essentially is I created a variable right here, enemy1x and enemy1y. I set enemy1x to this sprite screen relative to x, and I set enemy1y be the sprites screen relative to y, and then I just have a wait. Same thing with the hero display. The image of the hero would be displayed over this event, so I just have a hero1x variable right here and a hero1y variable right here. And I just set the hero1x to this event's screen relative x, and hero1y to this event screen relative y with a 100 second wait. And The final two events for this specific map are a ton of conditional branches that we have set up to loop through the animation. So if the enemy one any action variable is equal to 0, then this animation will play, which is just the wolf howl. So this is the entry animation for the wolf. If it's equal to 1, then this is going to be your standing animation for the wolf. So that's all it is. I did have 3 animations I set up here, 3 different images. I think for the final map I just used the first 2. I'm not 100% sure. I did make this battle system a couple of days ago. I'm just now making the tutorial. I have been pretty busy doing a ton of other stuff, but so this is the 6th one. This is going to be your wolf dead animation, so whenever he loses all his HP. And oh yeah, make sure you set the variable references for each of these images as enemy 1x and enemy 1y for this wolf monster. And I just have a weight set up after that. So I mean, I pretty much did the same thing for variables 2 through 5. Same concept. I mean, once you guys create all your sprites, all your images, you can even do something simple in Paint if you want, just to get an idea. Before you do some, major, go all out making a major battle system, you can do something simple to kind of help you learn. So that's the wolf animation, and then this is the hero animation. So same deal, different variable, all conditional branches. We have this variable here, hero 1 any action. If it's equal to 0, then this is going to be your entry. So that's his entry animation. Entry and exit. The only difference between entry and exit is for my entry I have it set up so it starts off with hero pose 1 and that goes down to hero pose 5, and with my exit animation I have it set so it starts off with hero pose 5 and then he goes all the way to hero pose 1. So just going through those animations here, testing them out. Same thing with hero any action 1. This is just going to be the standing animation, and again, make sure that for your variable references you're setting these these images to have the variable reference of hero 1x and hero 1y. So any 2 is just going to be him charging towards the enemy, and we're just kind of looping this. And go down to hero 1 any action variable 6. This is just going to be when he's either going back after an attack or if he gets hurt. We're going to use these images. So once you have all of your variables set up for character positions and you have all of your animations tweaked properly, once you know exactly where you need to place them and what image sequence you need to use, so they do look proper. And once you have all your scenery set up for your map, then you can go on to more of like making your battle system function. The first thing you want to do is set everything up here. So let me show you guys our finished battle map A, and there we go. So if I press enter, different animation sequence. If I press enter again, different animation sequence. and that's the last one. And then if I press enter again, it just loops back. Okay, and one last thing, if you go to map properties here, you know, if you want those rolling clouds, you just want to use a parallax background. You know, I could have used the default RQP stuff. I tried that out, I didn't really like it, so I kind of made an image. I showed you guys in the part A video. I made this image in Photoshop, and I'm just doing a scrolling horizontal scroll with a -2. I wanted this image to scroll from the right hand to the left hand. If I wanted to do left hand to the right hand, then I would have done a +2, or you know, one or more. And remember, you can be creative. Like, you know, if you want some sort of like weather effect to go through your battle maps, you can kind of you know, go into your event editor here, and you can go to page 3, for example, go to change parallax background, you know, choose that same image and then change the speed here. So, you know, say that the battle transitions from being very like bright and sunny to, I don't know, say the boss changes his form or something like that, and you know, it gets dark and starts to storm. Well, you can, you know, change your parallax background here and do like a horizontal scroll +8 or -8, and just make it, you know, go really fast. You know, just be creative with your maps. You don't have to stick to you know, what I do entirely. You can, you know, I don't know. It kind of looks weird right now, but you know, you can do like, let's see. You can do, if I go to page 2 here, shake screen. Just do fairly weak, and let's do a begin shake. And we can even do weight. Let's see, let's do a weight 12, and then we can do a flash screen with trying to find a yellow. Well, right there. And then, you know, obviously you can do these in either loops or using conditional branches. I'm just giving you guys a quick example. And then let's change the weather effect to rain. So, you know, say your battle transitions to something heavy. You can use a switch or a variable. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to do a parallel process. And let's see how that looks now. So it's a bit rough, but you know, you get the idea. You can play around with it. You're probably going to have to tweak around with these event lines to get it just right. It does take a lot of trial and error, but it's a good starting point, you know. So yeah, you know, just be creative and explore. If you've learned all the fundamentals, or you feel comfortable enough with what we've gone over thus far, or if you're, you know, ahead of the curve, you know, feel free to do your own thing. You know, you don't even have to do Z-sprites. You can make your own if you want. You know, be more original. But yeah, I hope this part 1 of RPG Maker Tutorial 11 Custom Battle Systems is useful, or has been useful, and informative for you guys. So, you know, please leave me feedback if you can, and I'll try to respond to you. If anyone has a suggestion for the next video tutorial, actually I am going to probably shift to Photoshop, but if you guys have like a request for another RPG Maker tutorial, please feel free and don't hesitate. I'll try to help you guys out in a timely manner as I can. So I will continue with part, I think I'll name it part 12 maybe, or part 11, 2A and 2B, whatever. I don't know how long it'll take to go over Battle Mappy, but we'll do that next week, and then The following week we'll do Battle Map C, which is, wrapping everything up, all the menus, all the functionality for the battle system. So please look forward to those, and I'll see you guys next week. All right, take care.